When you create your VoiceThread lecture, it's a good idea to insert pauses every few slides to ask your students to reflect on essential questions and discuss key concepts. This is often more engaging than the Oaks discussion board because students can respond via text, audio, and/or video. Notice on this discussion slide, I gave my students specific instructions and assigned points. You can track and grade student participation in VoiceThread by using the Assignment Builder option. Here's how. To get started, click on Content in the navigation bar. Next, find the module you want to store it. In this demonstration, we'll add a VoiceThread lecture to our Watch module. Click Add Existing Activities and select External Learning Tools. Now scroll down and select VoiceThread. This adds a link to your account, which will be replaced by the VoiceThread after we select it. Go ahead and click on the link. Before I select an option under VoiceThread Setup, I change the title so students can identify the lecture. In this case, I'm going to change it to VoiceThread Lecture 1. Now I'm going to select Assignment Builder from the options below. From here, I can select from 3 different graded options. Create a VoiceThread, which requires your students to submit a VoiceThread that they create, like a media project. Submit a comment, which requires your students to make at least one comment on a VoiceThread. And watch a VoiceThread, which requires your students to watch your VoiceThread lecture. Again, these options allow you to grade your students' participation, and that grade will sync with your Oaks gradebook. For this demonstration, we will select Submit a Comment because we're setting up a graded VoiceThread discussion. Next, select your lecture. In the description, you can enter detailed instructions, like answer the question and respond to at least 2 other classmates. If we count the number of comments required, that would equal 3. So enter 3 in the comments required. If you scroll down before you click Create Assignment, there are 3 more options. The first is Share with Class. If you want this to be shared with the class portal, you can click on that option. We're going to disable it. Moderate comments will require you to look at each comment before you release it to the class. So I'm not going to select that option either. And allow students to resubmit assignments. I'm going to disable this option and click Create Assignment. You can disregard this message because you're inserting your VoiceThread into content and not the course view portal. Okay, your assignment has been created. Now you'll have to refresh to be able to view the students and their submissions. You can see we only have 1 student in our course. I can hover over their name and click Remind, and that'll send an email to them from your email and remind them to complete the assignment. If I have multiple students in my course, I can click Remind All Students, and it'll email all of my students who have not submitted the assignment. Now I'll bring out my student screen so you can see what they see. Okay, so you can see in the description that they must answer the question, respond to at least 2 other classmates, and it also says they're required to leave 3 comments. And they're just if your students aren't aware of how to submit the assignment, that is the button right here. A lot of students will actually submit the comments, but then not click this button. They do have to click the button to submit the assignment. So as I go through, say I'm the student, I can click on the comment, and I can click on the text-based comment because we didn't specify what type of comment, and I can just enter in a comment. And as long as I enter 3, I can submit the assignment. Obviously, these are not very good comments, but okay, once I've done that, I can click Submit. And again, this is what the student would see. So now I'll switch back to our instructor view, and I'll click Refresh. And we can see that our student has submitted the assignment. If I click on the student's name, I can look at their comments, and this is the tracking that I had mentioned before. I can see their comments and when they made those comments. Because these comments aren't very good, I probably won't give them a great score. But before we enter in a score for our students, so do not grade any students. Before you enter in a score for your students, you have to scroll down and you have to attach it to a grade item in your grade book. Okay, this is how it's going to sync to the Oaks grade book. So to do that, I can click Add a Grade Item. And I've already got some based on my syllabus already in my grade book. But if I had not completed that yet, I can add a new grade item by clicking on the plus sign. But I'm going to go ahead and select the discussion. So I have a grade item called VoiceThread Discussion in my gradebook. I'm going to click Save. Okay, so now I have associated this assignment with a grade item in my gradebook, and now I can enter a grade in for my student. Because these responses weren't that great, I'm going to give them half credit. Okay, so now that has synced with my grade book. They should have half credit for this particular grade item. Now if I go up to grades, and I go to enter grades, I can see that this grade item in particular, VoiceThread discussion, was worth 10 points. They got half of the credit, so they got 5 out of 10 points for this particular assignment. And so that's how it syncs with the grade book.